I think it's pretty important before we go too much further into what we're going to be doing that we get a sense of what we're talking about when we use the term self-defense. One of the things that my students notice about me pretty early on is the fact that I rely more and more on the terms personal safety and self-protection than I use or rely on the term self-defense. So let's get this clear. Self-defense is a very narrowly defined legal term. The words that define what is and is not self-defense in a court of law are defined, and the words that define the words are defined by other words, and they define the words that define the words that define the words as well. There's no wiggle room when it comes to self-defense inside of a court of law. When you start claiming self-defense, in essence, what you're saying is, I'm guilty of what you're charging me with, but my actions were justified, and then you're going to be forced to prove why you were justified. Failing that, you're going to be found guilty of what you're being charged with. So be sure when you're using the term self-defense that you understand this and you conduct yourself accordingly. What I try to convince my students of, and what I'm going to try to convince you of here, is to start using the terms personal safety and self-protection. In the event you do everything wrong and end up in a fight, and while I would like to give a perfect definition of what is and what is not self-defense in a course of this nature, available worldwide, it's not possible for me to do so. The laws within the United States where I live vary state to state. You get outside of the United States, these variations are going to become even more pronounced. And so I cannot really give you a firm definition. This is self-defense and this is not. I'm not able to do that. I wish I could, but just the nature of the beast is that I cannot. And that would also be crossing into that very fine line of legal advice, which is what we're not doing here. Nothing in this entire course is legal advice. And so what I can say is that in the self-defense industry, a lot of instructors cross that line without even knowing what they're talking about, and a lot of what they teach is assault and will get you thrown in jail. So you have to be very careful about what you call self-defense, and look at this as a matter of, I'm going to increase my personal safety and not worry so much about the whole concept of self-defense. This is about making you safe, not what do I do when the guy starts swinging a sword at me or when he starts pulling a gun on me and everything like that. Your best bet is to not be in those situations in the first place.